Hey there gamers, welcome back to Banished Souls Cryptic Gaming here. So I've been working on this Ranger build. It's still kind of mismatched, as you can see. It's not quite as together looking as our healer, but it's coming along. I want to show you what we've got thus far. We're going to go over some specs and stuff. So as you're running around, whatever build you're originally using, you're going to pick up some spare items that may be spec'd a little different, but I'm looking for light armor, and I just happen to get a lot of these different pieces. So of course, we ended up with the Jin head wrap, 32 magnify, pretty nice. Hoping to get something with a 40. At the very least, this could actually be a pretty good piece once I get everything done with it, you know. So then, of course, our finely woven vest of the Ranger. This was opened up. I forget where it dropped. Probably down Elysium Wilds. 31 dexterity. As you can see, this is going to be a dexterity build. Cloth gloves of the Ranger. Again, don't think that they actually match with anything. They just kind of mismatched together. 31 dexterity, a lot of nice extra attributes, freedom and things like that. Vigor, empowered, ice spike, and health. Pretty decent stuff with that. 17% more damage to rooted foes. I'm not doing anything rooted, but if you actually fight with a team who's using like ice gauntlet, things like that, where they can root the enemy and root other players in PvP, you're going to do a little more damage, so it'll play off of somebody else's stats is what I'm kind of hoping for on this. Then of course we have the footwear, and this has the physical aversion, receives 4.5% less damage from a ranged. That's what you're going to basically face, is ranged attacks if you're using a bow. From what I'm noticing here, thwarting trip, if you trip's first attack hits a target with the active grit, the attack deals 20% more base damage, so that's a pretty good one to have. Then, of course, refreshing reduces the max cooldown down 4%. Very good stuff to have. Then, of course, our bow. We don't have any artifacts yet, but we are coming along. I have an artifact sword, but I wasn't real happy with the base damage, so I hung on to this piece here. So this is the Dryad Great Sword of the Ranger. All right, but I went ahead and I added the ruby, so that makes it the Ignited Dryad. It is a pretty sure pristine ruby I put on that thing. 50% of damage is dealt as fire on top of the, what? I think it's void damage here. Circling Abyss, after dodging an attack, your next hit 10 per second is 30% base weapons damage is void. So yeah, it does void damage. Looks like ice, but it's not. So then of course the defiled bow of the Ranger. Again, we put a ruby on there, pristine ruby. I believe it was the pristine. It might have been a flawless. I don't recall. But anyway, it gives you where it converts the damage to 50% of fire. The shirking frost. So after dodging an attack, your next hit will within 10 seconds does an additional 30% base weapons damage as ice. So what I've noticed is you'll get a 50-50 between ice and fire, but if you do a dodge and then shoot again, you're going to get that extra 30% on both. I don't know why, it just does. So, and I don't mean 15 on one, 15 on another. It does something that's doing a 30% on both. So definitely worth having. And then of course, life steal, heal for 7 seconds of the damage you deal. Does not trigger off persistent damage or DOT effects. Then of course the Vorpal 9.9 headshot damage, so you get a little bit extra stuff there. Pretty good. Then we have, and again, those have dexterity as well. That increases your dexterity. And then of course the example amulet. I did go and buy some amulets in the store, so I don't know where you would drop these, but this is a dexterity amulet. It has Alchemist Reprieve, Empowered, and Luck. Then, of course, Refreshing, Sacred, and Burning. That Refreshing is a great one to have, especially on an armor piece, not just a weapon, because, you know, anytime you can start stacking that, these will stack up to 4. We've got 3 of 4. I didn't bother putting a 4th one on. We may open something else with that on there. Then, of course, Refreshing again on there. We have 3 of 4, like I say. Could look for something. Maybe we'll end up finding something that's got it on there, and we'll get that full perk stack. But until that happens, we have the Healing Heartrune on her. Pretty nice stuff. And then of course we have the minor Heartrune of Cannon Blast. This is where he jerks a cannon out, as you can see in the picture, and he fires off a round, and it's actually pretty good for long range shots. Does 100% Heartrune damage, 3802 base damage. Pretty great stuff. Now Looking on to, we're going to do a test on this. So I'm just want to show. Last time I made a video, people were a little upset that I didn't show a lot of details. So we are currently still working on getting our bow up. I'm working on it. I'm using the skirmisher. Hunter, what I do is typically I'll try one or the other out. You know, I'll try them both out and see what I think. But I actually like skirmisher a little better. I believe is what it's called here. I preferred it. And then I'm also using the great sword, and I'm using onslaught. Defiance was okay, but I think I like the onslaught fight style a little better. Let me get over here where I'm not going to be getting aggroed on, because it's almost time for some of these enemies to respawn. Okay. So attributes. I've focused most of my attributes, obviously, on dexterity. It got to 350. Now, if you're in PvP, you can add some of these things around here and focus a little more on that. But in PvE, which is where I'm currently playing, this is going to get some tweak for the respec, obviously. I've got constitutions of 170. I'm not really running any constitution type armor, so that's applying points. We would actually have that up here, so we'd be close to almost 500 on the dexterity, which gives you a lot of damage, but you need that health too, is what I'm running into. And I'm not traveling around with a heal group right now, so this is what we're looking at. Like say PvP, that's going to get some tweaks. Same thing if you're playing in a group, you can always tweak that out. But so far, this build seems to be pretty awesome. So let's see what she does here. So these are level 42 players. I think somebody just passed through here and just wiped everything out. Alright. Do some headshots here if we can. So far pretty good. Got to remember to dodge so we can get that extra attack power. Yeah, somebody's been through here. So typically when I want to grind out some XP for my weapons to bring those up, I used to come up to the Great Cleave. Great area to work on. You can go into any of them, but I like it here because they do tend to respawn a little faster. And if you wander a little too much in either direction, you're going to end up coming across stuff that, you know, you can obviously beat. But it's going to help grind your points up there. So that looked like I thought would be a little bit better in there, but looks like somebody's doing the same thing I did and already plowed through it. So let's just keep running. This is a great area. We'll head north. We'll come across another encampment here. But that's what I'm doing today. Y'all have a good one. I'm going to hop off here. I hope this helps you with some ideas on how to do a build.